Hello there, my name is Tomás O'Leary. I'm a director with the Passive House Academy, and we're here at a typical construction site in Ireland. It's a block house, but this house is quite different than your normal house insofar as the architect and the client really wanted to build a super high comfort, energy efficient home. You can see here behind me we have the floor insulation, which is going to keep us nice and toasty on our feet, and we're also going to have cavity wall insulation here. So what we want to make sure is that this plane of insulation connects with that plane of insulation there. And if we don't have a good connection there, that's effectively what a thermal bridge is. So if we use just normal dense blocks here and they come down and they separate the floor insulation from the wall insulation, that's going to create a thermal bridge. And what will happen at that point then is you're going to have exaggerated heat flow, you're going to have a lot of energy costs associated with that, and you're also going to have low surface temperatures at the bottom of the wall, which is going to create discomfort. So a thermal bridge is anywhere where you have a separation of insulation planes. So let's have a look at a really excellent solution now to this thermal bridge problem. We've got a wonderful product here. It's called a Quinlite thermal block. It's the same shape and size as your normal block, but it's got amazing thermal properties which really are crucial to any high performance home. So in terms of its performance, this is a 7.5 Newton category 1 block. So it's got the same compressive strength as this standard dense block here, but in fact it's 10 times better in terms of insulation performance, so that's pretty amazing. So it's Quinlite by name, but not light by structural capacity. It's also 2.5 times better in terms of insulation performance than any similar product made in Ireland, so that's good. Where do we put it? Its position is very crucial. We've got our dense block here, and you can see we've got the floor insulation at this point here. And in this project here, we've very carefully placed the Quinlite thermal block at the same plane, if you like, or the same position as the floor insulation. So conceptually what's happening here is this insulation here is continuing out through the Quinlite thermal block to connect with the insulation in the cavity wall, and that pretty much reduces the thermal bridge effect to a very, very low level. When you're building a high performance energy efficient home and you want to future proof your energy bills, it's very important to get the insulation right in the floors and in the walls and in the roof, and you really only get one go at it, especially in relation to the floor here. So here we've got a product called Quintherm. It's a high performance PIR insulation. Here we've got actually 250 millimeters of this insulation, so it's a great depth of it there. The U value of this build-up is 0.08 watts per meter squared Kelvin, and what will go over this then is your floor screed. And living in this house, then you can imagine you have great comfort in your bare feet walking around with very, very little heat loss. And let's come back to the thermal bridge issue that we discussed earlier on. It would be kind of pointless having this great U value in the floor if this dense block wall went right down through the insulation layer down to the cold earth, and that's why we have the Quinlite thermal block at this position here, so it effectively creates a thermal break between the dense blocks and the cold ground below. This is really a perfect solution. Okay, we're upstairs now in this concrete house, and I'd like to point out a potential thermal bridge that has been alleviated in this house here. There's a sunroom going to be built out in that space there, and this wall here is above the sunroom, and it's going to be out in the outdoors, so it's going to be cold. So we want to create a thermal break between this cold wall and the heated space below. And what we've done is we've positioned a line of the Quinlite thermal blocks at the same plane as the roof insulation in the sunroom, thereby creating a perfect solution, creating a thermal separation between this cold wall here and the warm wall below. Okay, so it was wonderful to see those details, those thermal bridge details at the floor to wall junction and at the roof to wall junction. And I've taken you up here now just to give you an impression that, you know, this house looks no different than any typical new build block house in Ireland. So there's no compromise between traditional aesthetics on the one hand and high performance homes on the other hand.